So the one for me is, we've spoken about, obviously, we've already covered your personal challenges and stuff, so I won't go back into that. But I think for people, Frieha, for young people today, and there's a lot of buzzword is entrepreneurship, or khud ki company karni hai, naukri nahi karni hai. So you've been a trailblazer, maverick, all of those things for setting up your own company and working hard, and all those themes we've picked up. But if young people today, want to set up their own companies, what are 2 or 3 big things they should be considering, when thinking about setting up your own shop?
So even now, Talat, for me, innovation is the most important thing. And even though, last year when the pandemic hit, there was a lot of depression. There was a lot of, people. I actually decided that I wanted to do something, because I've been doing a lot of social work for the last 3-4 years, and I felt really bad, but I didn't know what to do. Everyone was doing rationing. So I thought, okay, you know what? I called up, I decided that, I would make little prank videos at home with my son. And I thought, you know what? I have so many clothes. I have a huge wardrobe. Why don't I just do a fashion show on my own at home and make myself feel happy, and my son can take the video? So we did the first virtual fashion week. So what I did was I just got 19 of the top designers in Pakistan ready. I said, listen, we do this for the frontliners, because they were the ones on the front lines. They were the ones, and Eid was coming. So just make someone happy. It was a complete CSR activity. And it just got my team involved. No one said no. Everyone did it, and everyone put the energy into it. Models did it, everyone. So it's about innovation. So when I'm talking about, entrepreneurs, you have to, no matter what the situation is, during war, people make money. This is war anyway. It's like a war with nature. You have to think of what's not happening. What can I do? And you have to take a risk. If you don't take risk, and if you're scared, you're not going to get there. It's just a leap, just get up one day and say, I'm going to do this, but then follow through. Because follow through ka matlab hai, you have to work very hard. I just jumped in. I had no idea. I was a creative person. I don't have a business degree. I had no idea about numbers, but I was smart. So I learned along the way how to do it. I learned about taxation. I learned how to negotiate. I'm still a very bad negotiator, by the way, because I work with passion. So I just go with it. But if that passion also, you can throw that passion out and that energy to the person that you're engaging with, whether it's your client, whether it's a vendor or a supplier, you can pass that energy on and get them excited about it. And also, I think I'm always going to say this: quality over quantity. So because when you don't feel good about, you're doing a project, you don't feel good about it, if you're in a position monetarily where you can do that, and if you're not, then do some of that commercial work, and then do something that's inside of you that you believe in. Because the minute you believe in something, you will work harder. You will make it happen. And you have to just put your mind to it. I'm like a crazy person, I get up in the middle of the night, write things down. I have lists everywhere, from my office to my house, and where I watch TV, to remind me that this is still stuff that I want to do, whether it's professionally or personally. It's a bucket list so I always tell entrepreneurs that, you must, they say, oh, chalo business plan pehle bana do, aur phir uske baad, kabhi it's okay to jump in. And even if you fail, the idea is try to learn from it and not look at it as a failure. Because like I said, my first award show, the people didn't show up on time. So I learned from it, and I learned to make it better and do it eventually right. But the concept was there. It just had the execution points that had to be cleared out and learned. So you learn a lot. You have a lot of problems in my country because of logistics, and people are lazy. You have to call 5 times. I've worked abroad, in fantastic venues like the Royal Albert Hall. I've worked in Japan, Jordan, all parts of the world. It's much easier because people are more professional, But in Pakistan, you have limitations. But there are other good things. For example, there's a lot of hospitality, and there's lots of, people helping you, which doesn't happen. So you do have the good and the bad. Obviously, I can tell you that it outweighs, the unprofessional outweighs that. But that's, you understand the system, and then once you understand the system, you just have to go. So just saying that energy, three things you said. So I would say one is, number one, believing in it yourself, and then taking the risk. That's the second thing. And then having the ability and discipline to see it through. That's very important.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So clearly for you, is still a journey and it's not a destination and you haven't reached yet. There's so much more to do. Okay, Fariha, over to you. I think you have one final question.
Yes, one final question, and Frieha, that is more about your involvement in human rights and giving back to the society, which is actually very exceptional. Because yes, of course, as a country, we do give back to our society. But what is very nice about your story, and particularly, and both Talat and myself discussed that, we find it very inspiring that you find the time to do all of that. So tell us about Mebhi movement. I think you started, and animal rights. So and what's next, actually?
Okay, so basically, about 3 years ago, we had a terrible, murder of a rape and murder of a young 7-year-old girl, Zainab, and just about 4 or 5 months before that, I had been going through, like I said, I had a sociology degree and I wanted to pursue the social, if I would have gone into that work as well. But I felt really angry. I mean, we all feel angry in Pakistan about all the wrong things that are happening, the sexual harassment. I had an interview on the on somebody called me, big publication, on the casting couch. And at that time, this was somewhere in November, I said to them that, okay, you want to talk about this is all masala and everything, casting couch, hota hai, ye nahi hota Pakistan mein. I said, there's a bigger story here. There's child abuse, there's rape, there's all kinds of things, and nobody really talks about it. And I sort of started talking about it when I reached the age of 34, but I hadn't really done anything. But they wouldn't print my story. I actually gave my entire story to the reporter. They did not print it. When I joined Sahil, which deals with sexual abuse of children only, and this is up in Islamabad. And when this Zainab thing happened, I just couldn't I was so angry. I called the editor. I said, now do you think it's relevant? There are 8 girls who have died. And he said, yeah, why don't you write in, maybe we can print it 2 weeks later. I said, 2 weeks later, this man is going to kill other children. So it made me so angry that I tweeted about it. And the tweet was, then I had a friend of mine from BBC who was talking to me and taking me through this. And she said, when you tweet it, you send it, you call everybody. So I called all my celebrity friends and I told them that, look, this is my story and I'm going to talk about it, because if I don't do it, I don't know, कल को कोई भी लड़की किसी भी elite family से या गरीब family से उठ के बात नहीं करेगी. And so I did that, and what it triggered was, for some reason, Maheen, also the designer who I worked with the first time, she called me. She said, I've been reading your messages and stuff and I know you're very angry and I want to tell you this happened to me. Now, the minute a 74-year-old woman tells you that some Maulvi had molested her at her young age, I said, I'm coming over, don't move. This is what I was doing it already, and then she was doing it. So I said, this is what we're going to do. So we created a whole plan. I'm a PR person anyway, where it would be viral and it would make a difference. But we didn't, know that it was going to explode and become such a big story. The next day, CNN was covering it. The Guardian was covering it. So international media got onto it. And then that whole energy that was inside of me was bursting. It was just like coming out. So I went on national television and I told my story. And then of course, it was just, there was no looking back. Now they've taken away the 2-finger test, which they used to do. It was so insulting and degrading that a girl or a young woman who had been raped, they had to check her to see if she was still a virgin or not. I mean, the bill has just been passed a few months ago. So there are baby steps. Every day there is abuse. Every day I'm on a group, we discuss the every single day. And these are just the reported ones, Talat and Frieha. There are so many that are not talked about. I have so many friends who've gone through that. I have male friends who've gone through this, but they can't speak out. We still have this horrible veil in our society which does not allow us to speak freely. So I'm like the next thing for me, you wanted to ask, because we only have 3 minutes left, is I'm doing a podcast. And I'm not just doing one, I'm doing a few. It's not what the podcast I'll do myself, but we're going to be doing one with more people, which is going to be more video based and YouTube, so that we talk more and we get it out to more people, and continuing to do the fundraising that I do, or whatever, the protests and the activism or whatever it is that's wrong, to go out there. But finding the time now to build because my company now is pretty independent. So luckily I have time to sit here and talk to you and get most of the work done by them. So I divide my time now between both things.
Thank you. And I would say thank you for making the difference, because I think, yes, your work, your passion, but I think this is where the area that you've highlighted, I think is where we probably need most sort of influencers here. So thank you for that.
Thank you.